Hi guys, it's Claire and today we are reading another chapter of Ivy and Bean. We are reading Easy Peasy, and if you haven't seen any of the other chapters, make sure to go check those out. Without further ado, let's get started. And this chapter is called Easy Peasy. Now they were ready to begin. Ivy went to the bathroom section of her room, puddles of cardboard boxes out of the under her bed. She looked at Bean. This part is really secret, she said. Promise you won't tell anyone, said Bean. Ivy opened the box and took out a square thing wrapped in pink silk cloth. There's Ivy in her bedroom area, taking out this. I wonder what it is that she's taking out of the box. It was her spell book. Bean thought that a spell book would be mysterious looking with a magic sign on the cover or something, but this spell book had been painted black. It was old, though Ivy said it was almost 100 years old. The pages were yellowish. There'd get it, said Bean, whispering. My aunt gave it to me, said Ivy. Is she one? Asked Bean. Ivy. She says she isn't, said Ivy, but I am not so sure. Ivy flipped through the book for the dancing spell and read it to herself, and then whispered it so soft that Bean couldn't hear. Bean didn't mind if anyone knew that witches' spells were private. After all, a few minutes ago, Ivy said, Got it is pretty easy spell. Only things we need are worms. Lucky, there are lots of worms in my backyard. Bean's backyard. Tons, but now there were going to have to sneak into Bean's yard and dig up without Nancy seeing. But so Lucky Bean knew how to get into the yard by going through other backyards. Pancake Court. There was, and this is the picture. Ivy's flipping through her spell book, and you can see her little witch wand. So let's see what there was. One really gross dog poop yard, and there was Mrs. Chan, who didn't like kids, in her garden, and there was lots of crying, but aside from that, Bean said it was easy peasy. But Ivy put the big black book in her backpack. Bean took the wand into her pocket. It was still a little drippy, but there was nothing Bean could do about that. Carefully, she tiptoed down the stairs. Ivy's mother was still working in her office, and they slipped past the door like quiet ants. Soon there they were moving quickly quickly towards the back fence. Ivy Bean saw that she didn't really know how to climb a fence. She just jumped at it. Hopping that would get to the top, Bean showed her how to find the little holes and bumps that made a ladder. So there they are, sneaking down the staircase to the door. I think that's the outside door. I don't know. Then here's a picture of Pancake Court. So it looks like this is Ivy's house. They went through these. And zoom it in a little bit. Looks like this is the gross dog poop yard view. And hopefully this is Bean's house, I think. Now there were no words on that page. When they got to the top of Bean whispered, "It's Ruby and Trevor's house. They have a good sandbox." The good news is that there was a gate on the other side of Ruby and Trevor's house yard. Bad news, it led to the really gross dog poop yard. Bean and Ivy walked tiptoed, but Ivy stepped in some. Fester the dog, the used poop came out to sniff. He was a nice dog, and he seemed sorry that his yard was so disgusting. The next fence was loud and easy, except that the wand fell out of Bean's pocket and she had to go grab it. Then came back Jake, the teenager's house. There was loud music with lots of bad words in it coming from the garage. There was no way Jake the teenager was ever going to hear them walking through his backyard. Mrs. Chance was next. Getting into her yard was no problem. Ivy and Bean climbed over the stone wall and dropped down into her lawn. Everything in Mrs. Chance's yard was perfectly neat. Her tulips were lined up in rows. Her apple tree was tied so that the branches grew flat. Her bird bath had no birds in it. If Mrs. Chance sees us, she's going to be really mad, said Bean. Bean knew this garden. It was very long, and there was no way around it. She is going to throw rocks at us, asked Ivy. She looked a little scared. No, she just talks. But the worst is throwing rocks. Bean sighed. Maybe. She's not home. Then this is the little dog that did all that poop in that yard we saw a few pages back. And his collar, if you get the book, you can't really see it, but it actually says Buster. No, Fester. The little collar says. But Mrs. Chance was home. They were halfway across her perfect yard. Then she came outside and stood in her paint and garden at them. Bernice! She was high voice. Come here. Bean took a few steps toward the patio closer. Please, Bernice, it seems that we need to have another one of our little talks. Ivy and stood beside Bean next to the patio. Who are you? Mrs. Chance frowning at Ivy, white witch face. My name is Ivy, said Ivy. Well, Ivy, there are no children allowed in my garden. Maybe you can't teach your friend Bernice that. Mrs. Chance gave a short drag like, because Bernice, do you not see to be able to remember it by herself? Do you, Bernice? I remember, Mrs. Chance, but I was just shouting of an emergency, said Bean. I am sorry. Usually when you say you are sorry, people say something nice back to you. Not Mrs. Chance. She didn't think. You're sorry, Bernice, but if you were sorry, you wouldn't keep coming into my garden. When I have to ask, you don't need to call your mother again. She smiled in a unfriendly way. Bean heard Ivy stinging her breath. She was about to do something about Bean. This is a picture of Ivy and Bean. Now this is Mrs. Trance. I'm going to zoom it in a little. That's Mrs. Trance. That doesn't like children at all. I'm throwing up, said Ivy loudly. Yuck, thought Bean, riding around to see Ivy looking at across one eye. A tiny bit. Bean looked across. Yeah, Ivy. Then she said, "That's an emergency. I was telling you about Mrs. Trance." Mrs. Trance looked worried. Ivy, bird up. It sounds horrible. Mrs. Trance jumped back. Go, run home. That was we were trying to do, Miss Trance. Bean sweetly said. She was having a good time watching Mrs. Chance's face. Go now, yelled Mrs. Trance. Ivy gargled. Mrs. Trance ran inside her house and looked at them through the window. She wagged her hand to shoo them. Well, now Mrs. Trance called Bean. She was going, but goodbye. As Ivy walked away, Ivy gave one more disgusting grumble. Just for fun, Bean tried to hold her glass in, but they came out of her nose. Ew. And Ivy couldn't hold her glass either. It was a good thing there were the next yard then. It was easy peasy. After that, they went across Kayla. Kayla was her high chair at the kitchen window. She waved her spoon at Bean. Bean waved back, and she put a finger on her lips. Shh, she whispered. Finally, they came to Bean's own field. Here's a picture of Ivy looking like she's gonna barf, which is another word for throw up if you don't know. And that is the end of that chapter. Don't forget to subscribe and comment down below so you can hear the rest of this book, Ivy and Bean. And until then, I will see you next time. Bye!